There are a lot of very different issues being explored when the topic of pornography comes up. This includes two basic, distinct topics. One is the conditions under which pornography is produced. The other relates to the depictions themselves. I addressed the first basic issue, that of the conditions under which pornography is produced, in a recent video specifically addressing the concern that exploitation and coercion are implicit to all pornography. Long story short, neither facts nor reason allow me to conclude that this argument is correct. If you're interested, the link to that video is in the sidebar. I don't believe it's reasonable to hold the porn industry to a higher standard than society in general. If one does this, they risk confusing broader socioeconomic problems with issues like workers' rights, transparency in business practices, the division of profits, or things of this sort, with something unique to the porn industry. Any solution to problems like those just mentioned that uniquely targets the porn industry would be a case, at best, of chopping off a single head from a metaphorical economic hydra. And it would only be done because of other motives, with little respect for either intellectual integrity or facts. All of that said, I really think it's the second general aspect under which pornography can be considered, namely the images themselves, which is the real root of most of the ire of the anti-pornography movement. Generally, everything else in the ideology is employed in a manner not dissimilar to the habit of apologists for dogmatic religion, actually, to the rhetorical service of predetermined conclusions founded on nothing more complicated, really, than feelings of fear, disgust, and perhaps even disappointment. Some pseudo-scientific arguments are employed to demonstrate a causal link between the viewing of pornography and any number of social ills. Typically, the data I've seen hoisted up as evidence in this regard is entirely coincidental. One could have asked how many rapists have consensual sex on a regular basis or eat bread and come up with similar figures. The majority of mainstream porn, it is true, caters to heterosexual male fantasies, not women's fantasies, though there is a growing market for this as the stigma attached to the viewing of pornography disappears. This said, before we harshly judge the common themes that are found in heterosexual male pornography, which is really what most of this argument is really about, we need to keep in mind that if scientific inquiries into the topic of general male and female sexual fantasies, or those specific to either of those genders, gives us any indication, it would seem that very often those fantasies involve things which society in general, including the people having those fantasies, would find rather transgressive or even criminal in the real world. This includes the categorically ridiculous and impossible, like rape fantasies, for instance, which a significant minority, must be emphasized, minority of women have, without having any real interest of going through a sexual assault. Or, for instance, people having fantasies about engaging in relationships that would be deemed socially or even perhaps in some cases legally inappropriate. Everything from fantasies about, sex with the cute babysitter, or, on the female end of things, fantasies with your partner's best friend or things like this. I mean, people have these kind of thoughts, and let's be clear, if they were acted upon, they would be quite socially destructive in most situations. So, becoming especially judgmental of male fantasies, especially because maybe they're not common female fantasies. It's inappropriate. Well, I think that's pretty much all I have to say for now. I mean, I know there's more that can be said on this topic, perhaps on another occasion. Till next time.